What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access, and today we are joined by one of the icons and legends in the rap business, James Prince.
Prince. Yeah.
Thank you for coming through, sir.
Oh, man, a pleasure to be here, man.
Yes, thank you. So, obviously, you have your new book, The Art and Science of Respect. It's an amazing read, and anyone that wants to know about rap, but also about personal growth and development and information on how to survive in life, really, and whatever game you happen to be playing in life, I would highly recommend it. And the book has two sections. The first is about your life and coming up before rap a lot, and then a lot of the second half of the book focuses on what was going on musically and then with boxing and different things. And you know, one of the things that I thought was interesting was one of the stories that you told was about your typing class.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to, you know, that was a situation that made you feel uncomfortable, but then you also grew and learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
So how were you able to be in a situation that made you uncomfortable, but then realize that this is something that could lead you to have, you know, this growth and to not dismiss the opportunity?
Right. Well, it ended up happening to me after the fact. You know, I didn't realize, you know, in the midst of being in a typing class, it was like a bigger picture behind me being there. You know, at the time, you know, I was like, you know, I didn't sign up for typing. You know what I mean? Why y'all gonna put me in a typing class? It's for girls. You know, so I tried to, you know, that's the way my mind was working.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I tried to get out of the class and they wouldn't let me get out of the class. On top of being in the class, you know, I had a teacher that was gay, you know, and at that time I like really had an issue with that as well, you know. So I'm like, not only do I not want to be in typing, y'all gonna put me in here with this kind of situation. So I sit there for like 2 weeks or so and I wouldn't cooperate, you know, I wouldn't do anything. And what ended up happening was the power of me passing was greater than that I was feeling about the class and the teacher. You know what I mean? Me being a failure, just, it was a strong thing within me that I wasn't gonna be no failure no matter what circumstance I was under. So therefore I became the second or third fastest typer in the room. You know what I mean? I learned how to put my fingers together, and I became great at that, which eventually led me to other places. You know what I mean? I ended up getting like a top, it was 3 students that had 3 jobs was offered to them. 2 of the jobs was Exxon. You know, we can go in and intern with Exxon. The other one was Colonial Savings at a savings and loan bank.
Right.
So I took that opportunity. So, you know, in retrospect, when I think about, you know, all of the things that, you know, was taking place that I thought wasn't a good thing for me, or I thought didn't fit, you know, the journey that I want to be a part of, it ended up like complementing, you know, really the rest of my life.
Okay.
You know, to be real. Yeah, things I learned in that class complemented every area that I moved forward on up until this point.
And then I think tied into that, and also throughout the book, one of the themes that may not be overt, but is definitely discussed, is like patience.
Yeah.
And 2 of the things that people that haven't read the book, but they should read the book to really learn and understand this, was dealing with Seven Aurelius.
Yeah.
And kind of waiting as his career progressed with the Murder Inc. dudes before you approach Murder Inc.
Right.
And then also similarly with the Drake situation.
Yeah.
So what was it about your life and how you had grown as a person and as a businessman up to that point that gave you that patience to where when Seven was doing this stuff with Ja Rule and you talk in a lot of detail, you were going to say something, but then you realized he was about to work with Ashanti and you were like, oh, let me just wait.
Right. Well, that was, first of all, I believe and I've learned that there's a time and a place for everything. So, you know, you don't react, you know, off of every invitation that's given to you in a manner of not thinking it out properly.
Okay.
You know, just because that invitation is given. And under the situation where Murder Inc. was, you know, I understood that if I reacted too soon, it could cost me a bunch of money. You know what I mean? I understood that, you know, everybody at that time wanted to be in control, other words, of their production to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Other words, if I'm in the mind frame of thinking I have a producer that I own his publishing, the likelihood and the motive for me to use him on my product is going to be, you know, kind of high. You know
Right.
what I mean? Vice versa, if I'm using a guy that's signed to someone else, then I'm like, whoa, a lot of this money going to go this way.
Going elsewhere.
So therefore, with me understanding that, I'm like, go ahead, brother, and you know, do as many songs as you can do with these guys. And I want it to be done and over with, so you know, I can come and collect on a whole lot versus a little.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, what do you think happened in your life to make you kind of understand that from, you know, your growing up, because you tell so many amazing stories about like your life and how you learned certain lessons by different members of your family, both biologically and then by, you know, being assumed family. So what did you see or what did you learn that really did that for you?
Well, I mean, you know, in the hood, you know, you learn a lot of things through trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I learned so many things by observing, you know, mistakes from other people. You know what I mean? I saw a whole lot, and I capitalized on the things. And, you know, I always believe in being a person that's quick to listen and slow to speak. So, you know, from observing and witnessing so many things in the hood equipped me for corporate America when I came to corporate America, because a lot of these rules was instilled in me by that point.
Okay. And then how did you, when you started making the transition into the record business and you were having your different partners and working with different people, how did you, you know, apply, what were the things that you applied from the streets and you didn't apply from the streets once you were like, oh, Rap-A-Lot was going to make money? Because you talk about in the book how when you went to Def Jam and saw like a check for LL Cool J that Leor Cohen had, you were like, oh, this is some real money.
Yeah.
So then how did you navigate that, just flip that and apply it?
Yeah, well, I always knew that I wanted to be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And then I understood that in order to become a millionaire, you had to play on a millionaire's playing field. So, you know, I realized that the music industry was a millionaire's playing field. And definitely, you know, when Leor showed me that check, you know, it just inspired me just a little more, because I'm like, okay, it's there to be gotten. And, you know, with that being understood, you know, I was able to apply a lot of the principles that I learned in the street, and a lot of the things I couldn't apply because, you know, anybody that know the rules and different things of the street, you know, you can't come into corporate America and apply them the same way and last. So, you know, I had to like become a student of the game and the different rules that existed. You know, in corporate America, I knew the rules of the street, and you know, sometimes there was a time and a place for both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, being more, making an emphasis on listening rather than talking, and getting to watch your career and your success over the years, I always thought it was interesting that, if I remember correctly, you were the first rap executive I really remember hearing talking on the records that wasn't trying to be an artist. Because, you know, obviously Schoolie D had Schoolie D records, so he was rapping and Eazy-E was rapping, but when you were coming up, you weren't. So what gave you the idea that it was important for you to speak on the Ghetto Boys records and to be so political and to do that in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, you know, my mission from day one was the reason I came up with the name the Ghetto Boys. You know, I want to be a voice for ghettos all around the world. You know, and I want to speak and inspire the hoods all around the world with, you know, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I knew of. So that was one of the main reasons I started speaking on those intros, because I knew it was so many people around the world that was in bondage the way I was in bondage. So some of my first conversations was to try and pull them out of bondage, and I painted a portrait, you know, letting them know the music game is the new dope game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Leave that alone. It's legal. Come over to the new game, because this is where it's headed. This is where it's at. And you know, I was able to penetrate and capture a lot of guys' attention that I didn't even know was really listening. But you know, in retrospect, when you know I listened to them today, it was those seeds that I was planting that, you know, caused Cash Money, Master P, Tony Draper, all of these guys to come to fruition and be relevant today.